Since its inception, the Communication Social Change Award has been encouraged by and enjoyed support from the highest levels of the university leadership. It's therefore a great pleasure to welcome to today's ceremony the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Queensland, Professor Paul Greenfield AO, to address us.
Thank you, Martin. Mr Nick Hurley, Consul-General of New Zealand, Ken Wiltshire, Chairman of the Judging Panel, Michael Bromley, prize winners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's a real pleasure to be here. I've spent, not all, because I have a few other things I had to do, but I was able to escape for the last couple of days and participate in a project or program that we've been involved in for 5 years, which is a program funded by the Global Environment Fund, the World Bank and a number of NGOs on coral reefs. And it's coral reefs largely in developing countries. There are 3 centres. One is actually in Australia on the Great Barrier Reef, but the 3 key ones are in Zanzibar, which is the centre for East Africa, the Philippines and Mexico. And what's interesting is what started off as a science project over 5 years, or a science program, has morphed immeasurably into phase 2, which is going to be so much about social change. Why? Because the problems in the Philippines, this is aquaculture being carried out right next to reefs of very high quality. The problems in Mexico of development on the coast in regions of high quality without consideration of the impacts of the reef. The problems in Zanzibar with overfishing can't be solved. They can't be solved without social change. They can't be solved without communicating not just the problem, but a suite of possible routes through the problem. So it's been a fascinating project, and I've been on the governing board of it for the period of it, and I must say I found it fascinating. One of the things I found fascinating was I got to go to a course on communication, and I remember, I won't bore you because there are people here who do this sort of thing for a living, but I remember 2 lines. One of them was from a journalist for the Los Angeles Times, and he came up with a line I've never forgotten: "If it bleeds, it leads." I thought that was, and the second one was a more sanguine comment, which was message sent is not the same as message received. And I'm sure you've heard that before. But communication is, modern communication I think is fantastic because it juxtaposes all the things we can now do, that is transmit data, with the fact that at the end of the day there is still the same set of ears and brain and heart and soul that actually has to incorporate it if it's to be effective. So it's clear that in today's world, poverty has many dimensions, but it seems to me one of the very extreme forms of poverty is where you don't have communication, where you don't have the ability to transmit what's going on in various parts of the world to other parts of the world. I'm sure for those of you, it just seems to me it must be such a strong driver for a whole set of things, for agitation, I'm sure for frustration as well, but out of that comes this drive for social and other forms of change. So I'm delighted, in 2 things. Firstly, that the school and the centre here have initiated a program in communication for social change. I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I congratulate the various parties who have been involved. We're delighted as a university to be involved in this. We think it is absolutely appropriate for a university like Queensland, not just to be involved in, but to actually do it really well, and to address both the opportunities and the challenges that modern communication sort of imply. And secondly, I'd like to commend the school and the centre for creating the award. It's such a great way to, I think, acknowledge that you think something is important, and I think that's something that, again, we try to do at the University of Queensland. We give awards both for our staff and for people outside for special things, and I think this signals, and I think quite appropriately signals, that the communication and social change issues are absolutely vital, not just for us as a university, not just for us as a country, but not even for us as a region, but for the world. So can I again congratulate the players and again thank Ken and his colleagues for being the judges. I'm extremely delighted that Mr Chin Sai-kyun could be here, the winner of this, the third award, and that courtesy of technology, we'll have a video message from Mr. John Dada as well, I believe. Not online, I've just been told. We couldn't risk that. So congratulations to both of those. They were among 16 candidates who were nominated, and in blue, I've got this in blue, so I have to say this, and no less a personage than Gloria Steiner nominated an individual. Not one of the winners, but never mind. Well, we think that's fantastic, and we encourage her to nominate again in future years, and perhaps her nominee might win. So, and what's interesting is that the Centre hasn't invested a huge amount in promoting the prize, and yet it's become well known. I think when something's classy and it's unique, that's what happens. And so I'd just like to finish by again congratulating all the players involved, particularly our winner who was here today. And unfortunately, as I said, I have this group from the Global Environment Fund and the World Bank here, and they're all heading off to Heron to check out the local reef tomorrow, amongst other things. Unfortunately, I can't go, so I have to take them to dinner, and I can't stay to hear the subsequent talk, but thank you again.
Thank you very much indeed, Vice-Chancellor. Much appreciated for those kind words. And before inviting the winner of the Communication Social Award to come forward and receive the plaque from the Vice-Chancellor, perhaps I could just read the citation for the 2008 CSC Award to Mr. Chin Sai-kyun of Malaysia. The award is made to you in recognition of your clearly demonstrated credentials as a long-standing, consistent and proactive promoter of communication and social change issues globally, especially in the fields of publishing, advocacy and NGO development. The CSC Award jury is especially cognizant of your not-for-profit efforts, your volunteer roles in support of South-South communication and social change issues, your pioneering work in ICT for development fields, and your tireless promotion of the works of authors from developing countries. So could I invite Mr. Chin Sai-kyun of Penang to come forward and receive the award from the Vice-Chancellor. And for those who are able to stay, Chin will be giving a presentation in just a few minutes. Vice-Chancellor, as you mentioned, this year the jury was so impressed with the quality of the nominations that it called for a special prize, a meritorious commendation award. And this award is a plaque and also a cash prize. And the winner of that award, as you mentioned, is Mr. John Dada of Nigeria. He's the president of the Fansuam Foundation, and we'll see him in just a moment through the miracle of technology, if I can sort it out. The award for him, the citation reads, "The Meritorious Commendation Award is made to you and the Fansuam Foundation in recognition of your clearly demonstrated commitment to communication and social change and your role in promoting ICT development in remote rural communities. The award jury is especially cognizant of your volunteer work in furthering the cause of development in Africa."